Hey everybody, I finally hit Legend in Season 12 of Go Battle League. It took me long enough, and I honestly wish that I had hit it earlier, but I'm not too upset about it because I got there in the end. I'm going to be showing some of my battles. Most of them take place in the Ultra League Premier Cup because these battles were done like Wednesday or Thursday of last week. So about 4 days ago by the time this video is coming out. But then for the last few battles, I did need to use the little cup, the elemental cup, I think, remix. So I have a couple battles at the very end where I'm using an element cup team. But the team is as follows: Swampert with Earthquake, Non-Shadow, Sylveon with Quick Attack, and Alolan Ninetales with Charm. So the first set I was running Charm Sylveon, then I realized I was incredibly weak to Venusaur, and I wanted to use Sylveon as a potential safe switch to maybe lure out the Venusaur if there is one. Otherwise, this team doesn't really have any massive core breakers to the team. Venusaur is really just like an auto loss, but everything else is playable. So we have a Walrein lead. This isn't great, but they let an Earthquake go, and I can save some health on Swampert in case I need it later. And I still have all this health on Sylveon, so I'm going to throw a Psyshock. At this range, I live 1 Hydro, so I could have thought about farming up to the Moonblast and at least taking a shield, but I don't. I get hit by the Earthquake, and now I'm in a little bit of a tricky spot because that Walrein in the back still has a lot of energy. And now I'm going to come in with Alolan Ninetales and shields. Now I'm down a shield, and they have switch advantage. This is looking pretty bad. But let's see how we can come back from this. They have a Scavalier. There is no coming back from this. This is going to be a good game. And we're going to take the L. Most likely, unless lag hits or something just absolutely wild happens. But I don't think I'm in a good spot at all. So let's see. Yeah, they let the Weather Ball go. At this point, they still have 2 shields. And they come in with their Walrein through right away. So we're going to lose this game. I don't know if I end up top lefting. I guess I'm going to go for the win. It's only a matter of time until I realize that the Sylveon, or the Alolan Ninetales just has no play. Yeah, they are able to throw a move, and I'm not going to be able to get them down before they can drill run me. So I finally top left, and we take a first game L in my Legend video. Kind of funny, but we'll see how the rest of the video pans out. We have a Poliwrath lead. This is pretty meh. Not great for Swampert, so I'm actually going to catch, hopefully, a Dynamic Punch. No, I catch a Scald on my Sylveon, and it does have Charm, though, so they're actually going to have to switch out into a Dragon Tail Steelix. This is going to be throwing double resisted Dragon Tails at Sylveon. So this actually is not as bad of a matchup as it might seem, even though it's a steel type versus a fairy. I'm going to throw this Moonblast. Is it going to be doing hardly any damage? Not really, because Steelix is so tanky. That Moonblast only does like 25 to 30% on a Steelix, and now they can overfarm on the Psychic Fangs. I actually try and catch on my Swampert, but they hold on to their energy, and it actually ends up being a CMP tie. And the Steelix ends up shielding, which I don't agree with necessarily. They are only 1 above another Psychic Fang, so I could have thrown 4 more Mud Shots, but they actually switch back into their Poliwrath at this point. I'm going to shield up a potential Dynamic Punch. It is another Scald, so maybe they have Ice Punch for the Dragonites, but we'll see. I throw this Earthquake here, and it does get let go. So what I'm going to do is get to the Hydro Cannon at the CMP tie. This is good for me because this is either going to force out a shield or take them out. They do shield again, so I'm a little bit interested to see what they have in the back. They throw the Dynamic Punch, which is kind of crazy. At this point, I'm counting their moves. I'm going to catch a move on my Sylveon, and this game is now over. Unless they have the Venusaur. Let's see. I feel like they would have brought it into Sylveon. They undercharged that Dynamic Punch. And they have Berserker in the back. So Swampert with all this energy, going to be able to get to the Earthquake. And this is most likely going to one-shot. And it does. Boom! They have Steelix in the back, and they're going to concede the match. Alolan Ninetales doesn't even have to come out of its ball. That is a GG and a very nice comeback from a Game 1 loss. We have a Talonflame lead. This is great for me. We have a Crobat safe switch. First of all, double flyer, very weak to rock, very weak to electric. What are you doing? I don't know, but Crobat pretty tricky for my team, especially when I'm not running a quick attack Sylveon. So I'm going to have to stay in here for a little bit. But lucky for me, they don't build up to a Shadow Ball. So I can take this Poison Fang with ease. I can get to another Hydro Cannon, and they're going to shield it up. This is pretty good. I'm going to throw at the CMP tie a Hydro Cannon. Is this going to be able to take out the Crobat? It barely does, and now we are in such an incredible spot. Really, no matter what they bring in, I'm going to switch that. Yeah, they actually don't bring in Talonflame, and they come in with a Pidgeot. So triple Fire Spice, they just don't think electric types or rock types exist, which I guess I respect. But this team is not good against Swampert, and their backline is not particularly perfect against Sylveon, but the Crobat has play, but unfortunately it had to get lined up against the Swampert because of their lead. And now it doesn't really matter what we do. Let's see, I come into Swampert. I'm probably just going to take this move and farm down. I think I can. I don't think there are 2 moves. Even if they were, I think it's just a Flame Charge. But at this point now I can throw the Hydro Cannon, and it gets the last shield, so I can come in with Alolan Ninetales whenever I want. Yeah, I'm just going to let the Swampert go down. And now they have no shields. They're going to throw a Feather Dance onto my Alolan Ninetales before I get the Weather Ball off. But I'm going to chip it down so low to where I think it doesn't even matter. A Weather Ball should kill anyway. But I'm actually going to shield because I don't know if they're playing any games with me. They're not. They throw the Feather Dance. At this point, all I need is to take this Pidgeot out, and then I can freely farm down the Talonflame. Yeah, and they can't get to another move. And they're going to surrender. That is a GG. And we are now 2-1 in the set. I think we're at 29-24. So we still do need one more set to win and hit Legends. We have a Nidoqueen lead. Very good for my team. I'm going to throw a Hydro Cannon before dipping, either to get them low enough to where I can win switch advantage no matter what, or potentially draw out a shield. But they decide to let it go, and now I can just charm this Snorlax down. Tank 2 Body Slams if I need to. And it looks like they are going to get to another move, just barely. And this is fine, because this gives the Nidoqueen less farm, but they actually undercharge, which is nice. But let's see. Yeah, gonna get to a Psyshock. Let's see if the opponent lets it go, or if they are going to invest their first shield. They let it go. So now a Hydro Cannon always KOs. I'm counting here. They are at the Earth Power. Let's see if I get baited. I do not. They go straight for the big move, and they have Obstacle in the back. So they have double normal in addition with Nidoqueen. So this is pretty good for my team. The double Charmers do like to see the Obstagoon and the Snorlax, and Swampert likes to see the Nidoqueen. So kind of the reason that I ran this team. Also, got gunk-shotted. But it's not going to end up mattering because their Nidoqueen is not even close to an Earth Power, so I can just freely get 2-3 Hydro Cannons and take this game. I built this team to hard counter Nido Double Dark, and I only saw it like 3 times, about as many times as I saw Venusaur, so I don't know if I would call it a success, but I went up like 200 points with this team from the first time I started using it, so I would definitely call it a success, as we were 3-1 in the first set. Let's see if we can get a nice little cheeky 4-1. We have a good lead, and they have Trevenant in the back, so this is pretty rough, but I'm glad that I can get it out now. Swampert should have a lot of play in the back. I definitely could have switched into Sylveon, but my thought process here is that Weather Ball is just cheaper, so I might as well come into Alolan Ninetales to be able to get to these moves a little bit quicker. Also, I could have farmed up more, pretty costly mistake, potentially, as they are able to get to the Sludge Bomb, and I'm not able to throw off any energy against this Drapion. So let's see. We have two non-shadow Pokemon going up against each other. So at this point, a Hydro Cannon won't be even close to killing the Drapion, but I can probably Mud Shot down if I want to get really aggressive. And there's the Venusaur, so we see a double grass team. That is this team's worst nightmare. At this point, I was kind of just laughing because, I mean, there's nothing you can do against the Venusaur, and this is actually where I decided to get rid of Charm on my Sylveon, just so I was a little bit safer against the general meta, having a quick energy generation fast move to be able to get those Psyshocks off and potentially threaten poison types in the back. Another big thing when running this team is I definitely would use these two Charmers, as they are the only ones that have Psyshock. Something like a Granbull only has Crunch, and it's a lot more glassy. So if you do safe switch against one of those poison types, you are able to threaten with the Psyshock against something like a Nidoqueen or a Crobat, and it just makes you have a lot more play and be able to come back from difficult leads, especially having an ABB team. Anyways, we have a Powder Snow Alolan Ninetales here. This is pretty interesting. I am going to be able to win CMP, but we pace each other to the moves at the same time. So let's see. What are they going to do? It's going to be a CMP tie right here. I'm going to shield, thinking that they may Gleam me, but I'm already pretty much in Weather Ball range. And now I come in with my Quick Attack Sylveon, and they have Talonflame. This is where having Quick Attack is very nice, as they're not going to be able to farm up too much extra energy against me. They throw a move right here. I think, live a Brave Bird. So they end up going for the Flame Charge. At this point, I'm just going to throw two Quick Attacks and get the Psyshock off, as I'm pretty close to another Psyshock, so they're not going to be able to overfarm any. And now I'm in a pretty good spot because this Talonflame is not quite loaded. And I can just come back in with Swampert and easily take them out and rely on my Alolan Ninetales to sweep. It's nice to get this Talonflame out of the way. So yeah, they let it go. Now I have a little bit of residual energy on Swampert. Let's see what they bring in with. They come in with their own Swampert. So let's see. I get to the Hydro Cannon. I win the CMP tie, which is pretty good, but I don't even think two Hydros kill. Yeah, they don't. But if you didn't know, if you build up to two moves and it's a CMP, you can get the second move off without them sneaking. As we CMP tied and they were getting their move off, I spammed my Hydro Cannon, and that allowed me to force a second CMP tie. It's a weird mechanic, but it's new in Season 12. But this might have allowed me to win because they couldn't catch on their Alolan Ninetales. They do have Dazzling Gleam, which can be a little bit scary, but let's see if we live this Hydro Cannon. This is going to be a close finish. We barely live the Hydro Cannon, deep in the red. This Weather Ball is coming through. I'm not sure it's going to be quite enough to KO, but are they in range for one more charm? They are, and we barely live the Mud Shot, and we take that game. Too close for comfort, but we come out on top. Anyways, we have a Swampert against a Feraligatr. This is honestly not the best lead because Hydro Cannon's resisted, and you have to throw these Earthquakes off. It's kind of like having an Empoleon lead, but this thing is not a Steel type. So I'm not baiting. I'm not playing around. I'm going to go for the Earthquake right away. And they shield. So this is not looking too hot. This is the CMP tie. I'm going to catch on my Sylveon. They're not quite in a range where Moonblast would kill, but I can at least comfortably take this Hydro Cannon. And this is what I was wanting in the first place. I get out the Nidoqueen, and we're going to be able to pressure Psyshocks a lot better than a Charm Sylveon would. They do not overfarm quite as much as they could have, and they throw this Poison Fang and don't even undercharge. So at this point, I know that they're only at another Poison Fang, so I'm going to let this go and farm up to 100 energy and rip off this Hydro Cannon. I'm not going to undercharge because I don't know how much to undercharge. I don't want to risk it. I can just throw one mud shot here and get to another earthquake, pressure their last shield, and it's going to come down to what they have in the back. They actually let the move go, and they have Dragon Breath Charizard. This is not the best. It's a CMP tie on the Weather Ball, and I'm going to just call the bait. It is the Blast Burn, and that does so much damage, well over 90%. I actually thought it was going to be doing quite a bit less, but Community Day moves are just busted, and we lose because they had double answers to fairies in the back. Sometimes that's just how it's going to be. So we have another legend, this time running Arcanine, so more spice, but this time more in my favor. They are going to immediately safe switch into Melodic, and this is why we are running fairy types. We totally resist the Dragon Tails. They're doing nothing. And we're going to be able to live 2 Surfs and just massively over farm. So I don't know exact counts with Dragon Tail and Surf, so I'm going to over farm a little bit, get the 2 moves, and I'm going to eventually... No, I'm actually able to farm down. Wow. And I am able to get to 2 Psyshocks against this Shadow Arcanine. The first one going to be doing about 40%. Second one coming through. Are they going to shield, or are they going to surrender this Arcanine? They're going to surrender it. Arcanine very low, and they switch into Pidgeot. And we have Quick Attack Sylveon and Swampert with 2 shields against 2 shield Pidgeot. My opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. We were able to take out another nice victory. We have a bad lead, Dragonite in lead, and this is where it doesn't even matter if you have Charm or Quick Attack because they have a Steel type. And no, it's not Steelix, it is a Galarian Stunfisk, and this is just so bad because Swampert is where you want to see this. But they can just realign onto their Dragonite. I'm going to commit a shield early and try and fish for a Moonblast debuff. I think that's my only win condition at this point in the game. It is already over because I'm getting hard countered. We do get the attack drop, so let's see how much damage this Earthquake actually does. About 50. That's so crazy. Galarian Stunfisk at level 50 is just mad, and I have a 15, 13, 15 one, but I don't know if it's quite good enough to build. I'm still looking for the hundo. But I do have enough XLs to basically level 50 it. I think I'm like 5 away or something, so I could just use Rare Candy XLs if I needed to. Actually going to go down 2 shields here because I want to flip switch. They are going to get a last second Rock Slide off, but we were able to win the lead. And we're going straight for the Moonblast because I wouldn't be getting to 2 moves anyway. And they actually let it go. But they have a Scavalier with 2 shields in the back. Only win condition now is catching. But I kind of stupidly come into Alolan Ninetales. Looking back on it, I think coming in Swampert and farming up a bunch of energy, maybe even throwing a Hydro Cannon first and then trying to time up the moves to catch on Alolan Ninetales would have been better, but then it would have allowed them to overfarm. So there's really nothing we could have done. This is going to be another L against an Escavalier. Alright, Basti the best, another legend. They have Umbreon in the lead. This is a lead scenario, which is neutral, but where I like to catch. I think I throw 6. Because this is right when they get to the move. So they throw a bad timing, but they have Dark Pulse, so I don't know. I guess it makes sense. And this is where we, again, draw out the Nidoqueen. This is amazing for me. I'm actually going for the Moonblast, because either way, a super effective Psyshock and a resisted Moonblast do quite similar damage. Obviously, Moonblast is doing less, but getting that Psyshock damage extra isn't going to get them into Mudshot downrange, so I'm going to have to throw off a Hydro Cannon anyway. And it's just nice to have the potential to get that attack drop. I don't know if I undercharge here, or if I just knew that would be enough. But we take out the Nidoqueen, and in comes Umbreon. I am going to throw a move immediately, and this time I'm going to throw 4, because this is where they're at another move, and I am going for the catch. We don't quite get the catch, but they have a fighter in the back. This Toxicroak, 2 shields up, and I have 2 shields as well, so it's looking like Charm Ninetales is going to be able to sweep this back line of Toxicroak and Umbreon. They barely get to another move. I'm just going to shield it up because I can. They actually go for the Sludge Bomb, knowing that they have to play out their win condition. And I throw the Weather Ball right away, trying to deny them, because sometimes switching in takes a turn. But it's a CMP tie, which is fine. They use their last resort, and I can get to another Weather Ball here. They do, I think, have one shield now because they used a shield on my Weather Ball. At this point, I'm going to go for the Hydro Cannon. I was really thinking it might be better just to go to 2 Earthquakes, but I actually get the shield anyway. 3 Hydras would have done the job too, though, so it doesn't, I don't think it really matters. We're going to go for the Earthquake, and this is going to take out the Umbreon, and I think that's another 3 and 2 set in the 2940s range. So let's actually see where my Elo's at. I played a few sets in between, yeah, 2944 and a 3-2. And now my Elo jumps up to 2959. Gonna give a little bit of context here. That's why my loading screen's taking a little longer. I'm 3-0 in the set. I was with my best friend in the car, and I was playing the battles, having him spectate me, and I go on a just absolutely nasty 3-0 run to start off the set. So all I need to do is win one of these next 2 games, go 4-1, and get to Legend rank. This team that I'm running is Jupiter and Quick Attack, Non-Shadow Vulpix, and Lixiel. Quite a meta team, but I ended up just building it on the fly because I actually didn't have enough Element Remix team Pokemon to create a team, so I just threw these really meta mons together and played a couple sets, and it ended up being worth it because I spent like 200,000 dust, but it got me to Legend, and I don't have a Master League team built, so yeah, I would have had to use an Element Cup team, and so I built one, and it ended up paying off because I actually got the Legend. They have a Barboach in the back now, so that extra farm on Vulpix isn't really going to matter as much as I thought it would. I'm going to farm up to 2 Body Slams. This is literally just the spam cup. You literally have like Wooper with Mudshot, Body Slam, Mud Bomb. You have Lick, Spheal, or Ice Shard, or Ice Shard Seal, Lick Seal or Ice Shard Seal with Icy Wind and Aqua Tail as spam, and then you have like Vulpix with Weather Ball and Body Slam. You have Jupiter with Bubble Beam, and then all the Razor Leafers with like Body Slam and Bubble Beam. So yeah, just a spammy cup, but it's a lot of fun, to be honest. At this point, yeah, the Barboach just had too much energy, so I'm actually gonna take an L. And this is it, coming down to the last game. We are 3-1. I'm not quite sure a 4-1 would give 41 Elo points, but we'll have to wait and see. We have Shellos in the lead with Hidden Power. And at the start, even though it looks like electric, that's what Hidden Power is for everybody. So I don't know if it was Hidden Power electric, but it's doing a lot of damage, so I'm not quite sure. We're gonna go rip off the Mirror Coat. It does a decent bit of damage. The move had to be super effective on Jupiter, so maybe it's Hidden Power Rock. But they have a Ember Vulpix in the back. Very interesting, because I think Quick Attack is just better, but they still are able to get to moves quite quickly. Gonna shield up the Body Slam, and at this point, I can Quick Attack farm down. And even though I'm down 2 shields, I have 2 moves to threaten whatever they have in the back. Is this a Shadow Growlithe? It is a Shadow Growlithe with Ember, so they have a Hidden Power Shellos and Double Fire Line in the back. Seal hasn't even come to play, and it's already gonna feast. But does it even need to come out? Because that Body Slam almost takes the Growlithe out. And I come in and lick down, and they concede the match. So let's see. Are we at Legend? Is 41 Elo enough? It is. We're at 3,005 Elo. I take the picture, get all the items, and that is going to be one for the records. I have been playing a little bit on and off in the last couple days after hitting Legend, and I've only had positive sets except for 1-3-2 with the team that I just showcased. I'm at 31-20. I don't know if this is my all-time elo high, but it's definitely up there. There might have been one season where I got up to like 3180 or maybe close to 3200, but don't quote me on that. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, we hit Legend in Season 12. Sorry I haven't been uploading, but I've been busy with work and school and really trying to just grind out some sets and not really worried about screen recording any of them. But yeah, thank you guys so much for sticking with me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys most likely next season. I'm going to be taking a break while Master League's going on. So yeah, catch you guys in a little bit. Take care. See you guys.